Today I published a piece announcing my retirement. I wanted to read through some parts of it and offer some reflections. All right, shall we? How do you leave behind the only life you've ever known? How do you walk away from the courts you've trained on since you were a little girl, the game that you love, one that brought you untold tears and unspeakable joys, a sport where you found a family, along with fans who rallied behind you for more than 28 years. 28 years is a really long time. I'm new to this, so please forgive me. Tennis, I'm saying goodbye. To have that moment of reflection was very special. It's nice to have it on paper. It makes it very real and honest and, I guess, official. When I was 6, I traveled across the globe to Florida with my father. The whole world seemed gigantic back then. The airplane, the airport, the wide expanse of America, everything was enormous, as was my parents' sacrifice. This photo, I was about 6 years old, and it was my first day spent on the Florida beach. They seemed incredible and beautiful and pristine and special and rich. I was just internally happy to be in this new country, in this new world, surrounded by children my age, and really just playing tennis, just playing this sport. The first courts I ever played on were uneven concrete with faded lines. They were awful. Over time, they became muddy clay and the most gorgeous manicured grass your feet could ever step upon. But never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd ever win on the sport's biggest stages and on every surface. Wimbledon seemed like a good place to start. I was a naive 17-year-old, still collecting stamps, and didn't understand the magnitude of my victory until I was older. And I'm glad I didn't. You always think of what your first successful moment might look or feel like, but you get there and it is very different because it's real. It's become a reality, and yes, you won this huge thing, but life goes on. My edge, though, was never about feeling superior to other players. It was about feeling like I was on the verge of falling off a cliff, which is why I constantly returned to the court to figure out how to keep climbing. I sometimes wonder if athletes feel the same way that I do, because I've never felt this consistent urge to be overly confident and to feel like I have achieved everything I ever wanted to achieve, because I feel like it's so easy to just fall from that. Confidence is beautiful, but it's like, how often do you really feel confident for a long period of time? These courts revealed my true essence. Behind the photo shoots and the pretty tennis dresses, they exposed my imperfections, every wrinkle, every drop of sweat. They tested my character, my will, my ability to channel my raw emotions into a place where they worked for me instead of against me. I would get on the court and it was as if like everything didn't exist. It was just my time on the court to improve, to get better, and to work towards being a champion. The sport was able to expose some of my greatest characteristics. The characteristic of never giving up, of fighting for every point, of going after my dreams. When I'm sweating and I'm pumping my fist and I don't look very pretty, but I look tough, and I love that version of myself. Listening to this voice so intimately, anticipating its every ebb and flow, is also how I accepted those final signals when they came. Shoulder injuries are nothing new for me. Over time, my tendons have frayed like a string. I've had multiple surgeries and spent countless months in physical therapy. I share this not to garner pity, but to paint my new reality. My body had become a distraction. It felt like a sum of so many days and experiences, doctor appointments for my shoulder, to come to this decision. I don't think there are enough pages that we could have printed out where I could explain like the things that I had to go through in order just to get myself to playing, to getting on the court, to practicing, to playing a competitive match. And I guess this was the best way that I could. Tennis showed me the world, and it showed me what I was made of. It's how I tested myself and how I measured my growth. And so in whatever I might choose for my next chapter, my next mountain, I'll still be pushing. I'll still be climbing. I'll still be growing. The end. Is it worth it? Like that question that I wrote in this essay, like, is it worth it? Throughout 28 years of my life, it was completely worth it. It was never a doubt. It was never a question, and I would just keep going. And that was an important question that I asked myself throughout my entire career. If I look at myself in the future, this is what I would probably say. You have a long way to go, and you will form many more incredible memories in your life. They will come with ups and downs, as they did in the previous 28 years of your life. But use each moment to navigate forward. Don't forget who you are along the way, and good things will always happen, because they usually do. Well, this is all I got for now. Bye. Such a dork.
All right.
Yay.